Hello, dear one. Welcome to Turn to Stone Tarot. For today's reading, we are tuning into the tree spirits and asking their advice about matters that may be affecting you at this time. The tree spirits would like to thank you for acknowledging their existence and for tuning into this reading. They wish to remind you of the many benefits they offer. They offer humanity shelter and wood that can be used for building homes and making utensils and building all kinds of furnishings. They offer wonderful sounds combined with the wind. They love the way their leaves sound when the wind rustles through them. They offer color therapy through the colors of their leaves. And they respirate, so they offer a kind of cooling to the earth as well as respiration to humans. They offer beneficial aerosols that are good for human health. So as much time as you can spend around trees and tuning into their spirits, they invite you to do this. For today's reading, you have three choices. Pile 1 is oak, pile 2 is maple, and pile 3 is aspen. Timestamps are below. Please choose the pile you feel most drawn to, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile 1, oak pile. Welcome to your reading. I'm excited to bring this reading to you today. I think you will like the direction of the reading that has come about. It's a very interesting reading. And you've chosen a very sacred tree for your chosen pile here. The oak tree is considered to be sacred by many cultures. It's also associated with strength, wisdom, longevity, endurance. It's considered by some to be a tree of integrity. It's known for its vitality and fertility. In some cultures, the oak tree is the tree of life itself. The oak essence is supportive for those who may be feeling broken down by a long period of suffering or a long period of use or work. It's wonderful for those dealing with adversity of any kind. The oak understands these things and is a supportive essence for those situations. Crows are very fond of the oak tree. You'll often find a crow perched on an oak. And as you may know, crows are considered to have a spiritual connection. It's said that they're able to communicate with the spirit world as well as the earthly world. So they kind of cross that bridge, and they favor the oak. Squirrels are also very fond of the oak. As you may know, they love the acorns cast by the oak. And there's actually a mutual beneficial relationship going on there. The squirrels bury the acorns to be consumed at a later time, but in doing that, some of the acorns are then planted into the soil and become oak trees later on. So the squirrels and the oaks kind of work together. The squirrels get food and the oaks get a way of propagating their populations into the future. They're very slow to mature. It can take 30 years before an oak tree begins to produce acorns, and even up to 60 years before it can produce a full crop. So it's a slow maturing tree. It's very wise, slow moving, enduring. All right, so let's get into your reading. The cards that have come out for you today are the Eight of Cups, the Ten of Stones, home, and the Ten of Stones is the Ten of Pentacles in traditional decks. You also got the Eight of Bows, which is the Eight of Wands in a traditional deck. And the word here is hearth fire. You got the Five of Swords, the Three of Cups, and the Sun card. The words on the Sun card are healing energy, happiness, comfort, and joy. And then the final card is the Seven of Stones, which would be the Seven of Pentacles, and the word is healing. And the way I've set the reading up, or rather the way that it came out, is this side is showing your situation, intention here in the middle row, and the final column is the destination. And then I have this card as your outcome card. All right, so let's look at let's look at the reading overall. Trees do appear twice in your reading. So that's very interesting. The trees are also reflected in the cards themselves. They're in the Ten of Stones card there, home. Looks like a very wonderful tree kind of in the center of that card. And then in the Seven of Stones, healing, there is a tree in the background of that card as well. So I think the trees are kind of coming into the imagery on the cards, which isn't always the case in these cards. So also I'm seeing 3 8s here appear in the reading. You've got the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Bows, and then you've got a 5 and a 3 in this row. So you've got an 8 on the bottom row as well. And I associate 8s with abundance. So there is a kind of sense of abundance at play in your overall situation and desired outcome here. So from this column here, I see with the Eight of Cups and the Five of Swords, there's been a falling out. This could be in a number of situations, depending on where you're at. This could be in a family situation, a work environment. Maybe it's happening with a friendship or a friend group. It could even be in a romantic situation. But there's been a falling out. There's hurt feelings, perhaps on all sides. I'm seeing a situation that I would call an every person for themselves situation. People were not looking after one another's best interests. Maybe you feel slighted by someone, put down by someone, not looked out for by someone. Something has occurred here that has kind of left its mark, as it were, and it may have been painful, may have been unpleasant. But I can see from the Eight of Cups card that you're already beginning to walk away from this. This is something that has happened that you're not pleased with, and because you're not pleased with it, and that your needs are not being met in this situation, you're walking away from it. It's not something that you see any further benefit in at the moment. And I can tell from this middle row that your intentions are actually very different. You're looking for your home with this Ten of Stones home card. You want an environment that feels conducive. You want an environment of joy, celebration, togetherness, positive collaboration, something very different than whatever you've just experienced in this other situation. And you're really searching to build that for yourself and for this community that you want to be a part of, whether it's just a community of 2 people in a relationship, or a larger community, as in a family or a group of friends or chosen family. So you're really looking for something entirely different than what has just gone down in whatever situation you found yourself in. The oak spirit is encouraging you to move ahead with integrity and to move ahead with endurance. It's offering you its endurance at this time. It may be a little difficult at this juncture in the road, as you perhaps can't really see how you're going to get to the place that you want to be in terms of a supportive environment for yourself and for other people, something that feels good to exist within. You don't quite see how to get there yet, but the oak tree suggests that if you endure, you will indeed find this. And we're seeing that in this destination column here with the Eight of Bows, Hearth Fire, and the Sun card. There's something very warm and enriching that lies ahead for you. And healing appears twice in your reading here. We've got healing energy with the sun, and then with your outcome card here, the Seven of Stones, healing appears there as well. So the oak tree is suggesting that you can heal from whatever this unfortunate falling out was, that you can heal those feelings of perhaps rejection, isolation, perhaps expulsion even, that there is a warmer situation, a more inviting situation, a more collaborative situation that will become available to you if you continue to walk this path forward. With this figure in the Seven of Stones card that's lying on the ground, I'm hearing that you can lay to rest any difficulties that this situation may have brought about for you. In traditional decks, this is the card of taking stock. So I get the sense that you're going to take stock of what has occurred in this situation that has caused pain and hurt and maybe lingering anger even. And you're going to be able to transmute the difficulties of that situation and make improvements that will help you heal and get to this new situation that is much more supportive of who you are and your life path. The oak tree would like to remind you that it is a hardwood tree, that it does possess strength to get through even difficult situations as you have been through. And it is mentioning this because you too have this strength and endurance to reach this wonderful, warm outcome that you so desire. The home that you are seeking is available to you in the future, and you are encouraged to take stock of the situation that has happened, to look at how you may have contributed to it, how others contributed to it, to investigate what about that situation gives you information about what you want for your future. Take the richness that you can from what has occurred. Use it to inform your future vision. What did you want to happen? How did you want that environment to be? It did not fulfill those promises, but that doesn't mean that you can't fulfill those promises in the future, now that you see what it is that you really wanted all along. All right, pile one, oak pile. That is your message from the oak tree spirit for today. I thank you for tuning in and for engaging with the oak tree spirit. Thank you for recognizing the beauty of the trees in your life. I encourage you to do what you can to support our tree community here on Earth. If this reading resonated for you, I would love to hear about it. Please comment in the box below and tell me how this reading fit for you. Thank you again for tuning in. I will see you next time. Hello, Pile 2, Maple Pile. Welcome to your reading. First, I have to say, wow, your reading is really incredible. There's a lot of very strong energy coming off of your reading with these three major arcana. They were the first three cards pulled for your reading, and that's huge. So you must be going through a very big transformation at this time. That's indicated by these cards, and they're very big cards indeed. Also, as I was setting up your reading, I ran into a number of delays, a lot of tech issues. I had to postpone your reading to solve a number of problems related to technology while I was putting this reading together. So I'm getting the sense that maybe you have felt delayed in making this transformation that you're going through at this time. Are you making some big change in life? And are you feeling like you're kind of having to deal with one thing after another, or it's been pushed out a number of times for you to get to this place? That situation certainly did occur as I was putting your reading together. The maple tree spirits have a very specific message for you today, which I think you will find interesting. I pulled for your outcome card the Ten of Bows, responsibility, which is the Ten of Wands in traditional decks. And it didn't make sense initially, so I had to kind of listen in closely to hear what their message was. So I think you'll find it interesting. So let's look at all of your cards here. We have the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, the Chariot, again, all major arcana there on the top row, You also received the sickle card, and the words there are focus, regrowth, and letting go. And you received the B card, community, cooperation, and sweetness. And then, as I said, your outcome card, 10 of bows, responsibility. So what I'm getting from this reading, first of all, the maple tree spirits wanted me to point out that this lantern on the hermit card is glowing much the way that the maple trees will glow in the autumn season. They turn these brilliant colors in the autumn, kind of going from yellow to orange to red, depending on the species of maple, of course, but they also sort of glow within. So they wanted me to tell you that you're really beginning to shine your inner light into the outer world. You've been in a period of cultivating this inner light. I can see that here with the sickle, that you're harvesting kind of all of this inner work that you've been doing. Incidentally, the maple tree is also associated with inner work in some cultures, and the hermit card definitely points to that as well. You also have 2 10s in this reading. The Wheel of Fortune is represented by the number 10, and you receive the 10 of bows, responsibility. So 2 10s tells me that you're at the completion of something, and you're beginning to move into a sort of new beginning phase. So you're leaving this period of more isolation, more interior activity, and you're beginning to shift now into a much more public-facing, social, engaged in the outer world phase of your life. The B here is suggesting that you're moving into more social activity. Maybe you have more clients, more coworkers, more friends, more love interests even, potentially, if you're asking about love. But you're definitely shifting in a very major way from this sort of more quiet, interior way of being into a more external way of putting yourself into the world and shining your light into the world, as it were. So the message that the maple tree spirits had for you related to this 10 of bows responsibility card, it's a twofold message. The first message is to encourage you very much to not be afraid to take on responsibilities as you move into this new phase. Your success may require assuming certain responsibilities, and they encourage you to do this. You maybe perhaps had pulled back from some responsibilities in the phase that you've been in, but it's now time to assume more responsibilities as you go forward. They also had a word of caution for you to be very discerning in the responsibilities that you take on as you move forward. There will be responsibilities that present themselves that you don't need to take on, that will only create busy work for you, that will only weigh you down. They want you to use your discernment as to which of these new responsibilities are worth your while and are actually aiding your progress, because some of the responsibilities that present themselves may not be beneficial to your progress, but they're asking you to rely on your intuition to know which is which, and to take on only those responsibilities that are beneficial to your path. The maple tree spirits are telling me that you're making your way to the sweetness you desire, as we can see with this B card. And this figure in the 10 of bows card is kind of walking up this mountain, and there's an encampment at the top with a warm fire, and looks like a gathering of people at the top of the mountains. And you're definitely on your way there with the imagery represented on this card. So you're on the right path. This change that you're undergoing at this time is the right change for you, but you will need to use your discernment. The maple tree is a tree of strength, endurance, resilience, and it's known for its regeneration. Maple trees can come back after forest fires, and perhaps you have been through a situation in your life that has been similar to a forest fire. or some type of adversity. But you're now at this place, you're at the fulcrum point where you're beginning to tip out of the solitary, withdrawn phase into the more outgoing, engaging phase. There is abundance on this road for you. There's the potential for prosperity and sweetness and vibrancy, and they encourage you to move forward, simply with this caution, not to overdo it, not to take on too much, and to be wise about what you engage yourself with. All right, pile 2, that is the message that I have for you from the Maple Tree Spirits. I hope you enjoyed this message. If this resonated for you, I would love to hear about it. Please comment down below and let me know if this fits your situation. And thank you again for joining me. I wish you all the best in your endeavors, and I will see you next time. Hello, pile 3, Aspen pile. Welcome to your reading from the Tree Spirits. You chose the Aspen tree. And very interesting things are going on in your reading here regarding the aspen tree. The aspen was named for the Greek word aspis, which means shield. And the shield imagery is kind of playing a big role in your reading here today. The first card out for you was the Four of Swords, as you can see, or I'm sorry, the Four of Pentacles, which you can see at the top. And that's very much a card of shielding. In fact, the yellow of the pentacle almost looks like the yellow of the aspen leaf. It's really quite incredible, the symmetry that's going on in your reading. So let's go through your cards. We have the Four of Pentacles here, the Queen of Swords, the Four of Wands, the Nine of Arrows, and the word is dedication, the Seven of Bows, and the word is clearance, the 10 of Vessels, and the word is happiness. And then for your advice card, we have the word snow, and the words underneath snow are rest and contemplation. So very interesting reading for you here today, Aspen Pile. Immediately, the Aspen Tree Spirits have asked me to extend compassion to you at this time. It does look like there's a bit of a challenging situation going on in this reading, and they want to let you know that they are very compassionate towards you, and they're bringing this reading to you with that spirit. The aspen tree, as we mentioned, it's been associated with shields. It's said that the leaves themselves look like shields. Aspen wood has been used to make shields by ancient cultures. So there's a lot of this quality to the aspen. It's a very protective tree. It's also a very interconnected tree. Aspens share a common root system among them, so that there's a lot of sharing with others going on, a lot of supporting others, being supported by others. So that was a theme they wanted to point out as well. The sound of the leaves are very distinctive. The aspen leaf stem has a flat stalk, which enables it to kind of flap in the wind. So it's often known for its trembling leaves. And some people say they think the aspen leaves sound like rain in the wind, that it sounds like the sound of rain. And some cultures associate with that sound with the sound of spirit itself. So it's very sacred in that way. As an essence, aspen is used to treat fears and apprehensions. So we all know the quaking aspen or the trembling aspen. So it has this association with fears and apprehensions, sometimes just facing fears of the unknown even. So aspen is a very important tree. So with your reading, I can see that there is some shielding going on perhaps for you in your life right now. With this Queen of Swords figure in the center, I wonder if there is a prominent woman in your life or a prominent feminine figure who perhaps has behaved in a way that seems cold or lacking compassion somehow. She seems to be kind of turned away from the previous figure and is just sort of making stark decisions perhaps that are self-interested. I can see from the cards appearing down below that whatever decisions she's made hasn't sat well with you here. And again, with the utmost compassion, there almost could have been some bullying going on in this situation, or maybe some very cutting words were exchanged. With this Nine of Arrows figure, I see someone who looks a little sad, someone who's had a lot of sharpness thrown their way. And that makes sense why this Four of Pentacles figure is looking very guarded, and is in fact covering his heart. There could be a shielding of the heart that's going on as a result of the treatment that has occurred here. The Seven of Bows tells me that perhaps you've been spending your time crafting defenses against this kind of behavior. You don't want to go through this again or experience the feelings that it has left you with again. So you've had to sort of craft your own way of defending against these maybe insults, criticisms, verbal attacks, something very sharp that's been pointed in your direction. You're wanting to defend against it, and naturally so, of course, anyone would. But I see from this reading that the time has come for you to perhaps begin to release these blocks that you have had to put up to defend yourself against this kind of treatment. The way that the cards are leading out, as you can see, we have two very happy cards in this column. We've got the Four of Wands, which is a card of joyous celebration. And we have the Ten of Vessels, which would be the Ten of Cups in traditional decks, with the word happiness. So what I see here is there is a block to your happiness that's occurring here. You've had to build up these defenses in order to protect yourself, in order to not suffer the slights of these arrows. But it's reached a point where these defenses are now perhaps keeping you from the joy and fulfillment and connection and emotional expression that you so desire. The Snow card is telling me a number of things. First of all, it's suggesting a flurry of blessings that is available to you, but it's going to require the removal of some of these blocks for you to encounter this delightful flurry of blessings that wants to come into your life. The Snow card is encouraging you to rest, to go inside, to go within, to take a deeper look at some of the defenses that you've had to build up in response to your treatment by this person or group of people. Maybe it's time to consult a professional to help you get to the root of what has occurred here and how you have responded. I think the response has kept you safe in some way. It has kept you shielded, but it's also shielding you from the many blessings that want to come in your life. What can you release? Where can you begin to lower your defenses, to lower your shield, as it were, to let in some of this beautiful happiness that wants to enter your life, to start to develop partnerships that are very satisfying to you, as we see in the Four of Wands card. I'm struck by how the first card is a solitary figure that's kind of far outside the town, as it were, and then in the top right-hand card, we have the Four of Wands, where it's two people, so a connection has been formed. And then there's a crowd of people behind them, and they're sort of close to the village there. So there's a moving from solitariness to more connection that can happen. But it will require looking at these defenses that you've put in place, and perhaps needfully so. The defenses were needed at one time, but in the way that this axe has been put down in the Seven of Bows card, it may be time for you to put down your axe and begin to explore what it would mean to open up to warmer feelings, to deeper emotions, to maybe thaw, as suggested by the snow card here, a little bit some of the freezing that has occurred or the freezing out that has occurred. The aspen tree spirit would like to remind you that it is very much a tree of regeneration. It's been known to overcome challenges and regrow after disturbances like forest fires. So, whatever this disturbance is that has necessitated the building of defenses, you can overcome this challenge, you can regenerate, and you can again become interconnected to the world around you. So pile 3, Aspen pile, that is your reading from the Aspen tree spirits. Again, they wish to express their utmost compassion for the situation that you're in and extend their support to you at this time. If you can get out in nature, if you have aspens growing in the region where you live, they encourage you to look upon them and draw strength from them, or perhaps even just looking up pictures of aspen trees online could be beneficial to you at this time. I thank you so much for tuning into this reading. I wish you all the best with this situation. And again, I encourage you to focus on this happiness and joy that really is very possible for you. It's in the cards for you, as it were. So I hope you will experience this, and I wish you all the best, and I will see you next time.